You are listening to the You Get to Decide podcast with your host, Allison Cratchiola Gallagher, and this is episode 72.
Welcome to the You Get to Decide podcast. This is your life and business coach and host, Allison Cratchiola Gallagher. I help all you high achievers out there feel content and confident so that you can feel happy now. Then you're just going to go out and create the life of your dreams faster. Through my journey, coaches have helped me completely transform my life, and now I get to help you do the same. Every week, we're going to talk tools, tips, and tricks to help you take consistent action based off the life you want. Because you really do get to decide your life. And I am here to remind you of that every week. So let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the You Get to Decide podcast. I am your host and life coach, Allison Gallagher. And if this is you, maybe you've binged all of my podcasts. And if that is the case, thank you. And maybe this is your very first episode that you're ever hearing from me. And in that case, thank you. My goal is always to drop tools, tips, and tricks every single week to help you use your mind to create what you want instead of allowing your mind to use you and totally derail you and your life and probably create a lot of emotional pain along the way. Our brain is malleable, and when it's left untouched to do its thing, it will create beliefs that don't serve you, don't serve who you are, who you want to be, and what you want to create. When we become self-aware in how our mind is governing our life and we take the power back and we lead, that is when we can create the life that we want and in turn create more joy, feel more fulfilled, and just overall feel more grounded, calm, and happier, even without the results yet. But the results are inevitable when you lead your brain. And that is what I'm here to share every single week. And I'm going to talk about something I've never talked about before, but I absolutely believe at least 90% of my audience will totally relate to this and not even know they're doing it. And that is believing that you are a problem to be fixed. And it may not be forefront for you that you are a problem, but somewhere underneath there is a buzzing, there is a deep thought that you are the problem and you are searching for the solution, searching for how to fix yourself. I am going to bust through that belief today. I am going to bust through why that belief is happening, why it's not serving you, and how to do it, and what it's creating for you, honestly, and then how to do it different. So welcome to the ultimate transformation of believing that you're the problem and what it's causing. And I swear there's so many of you really think, pause this episode and really think, do I believe I'm the problem? Because it may not be forefront for you, but underlying it probably is there. If you have shame and embarrassment, it is coming from you're the problem. I know this, okay? So if you do, this is the evidence, potential that you have this underlying belief. If you feel shame about who you are, who you're not, if you have shame about where you are, if you have shame about things that come out of your mouth, you have an underlying belief that you are the problem to be fixed, because that will create shame, because that means there's something wrong with you. And shame says there is something wrong with me. Okay, that's what happens. So I hardly ever have notes for my episodes, and I videotape me recording. And so if you're watching, I have my notes. And I don't usually have notes, but I want to make sure that I'm nailing down what's happening. And I thought I needed my notes to do that, but I might not for the whole thing. So when you think you're the problem It stops you from moving forward because you keep trying to fix yourself. When you think that you're the problem, and that you may not be thinking that, right? But that the driver is that I'm the problem. And then the thoughts might be, when you believe every decision, every setback, every emotion comes from evidence that's against you. Okay, so setbacks mean you're wrong. You can't make a decision, you make that wrong. When you are stuck, you make that wrong. When you come out the side of your neck to your kid, you make that wrong. And if you're making everything wrong, it's probably meaning you think you're wrong, which means you think you're the problem. And it keeps you stuck in shame. So what I want to offer is, what if it's your brain learning that's a way to protect you? Because I've done episodes about shame before, and it relates to this, but I've never shared it in this way. It keeps you stuck and not moving forward, which is what your brain wants. Your brain wants to keep you stuck, my friends. They love it. Your brain loves you stuck because you don't have to exert more energy. You don't have to learn. Your brain is like, what if we fail? What if people see us making mistakes? It's all scary to the brain. Okay, so it doesn't want you to grow. It only wants what's familiar. And if you want to build a life that you've never built before, none of that is familiar. And so your brain is going to do everything it can to stop you. My job as your coach is to show you this so that you work around it. And it not because you're the problem, but because you have a human brain and you're a human being with a whole lot of beliefs, and you can look at them neutrally and walk through them so much easier. But we don't do this because we believe we're the problem. I always believed I was the problem. Always. I was riddled in shame. So it keeps you stuck because you keep trying to fix you instead of understand you. There's a difference. Okay? Most especially driven women say to themselves, if I only worked harder, if I was only more disciplined, if I was only more patient, smarter, if I was only better with my time, if I only had more time, right? If I was only more motivated, if I didn't need as much sleep, if I didn't have to rest, right? I talk to some women that are annoyed that they have to sleep. That is a trauma response, my friends. Okay? That's a red flag. Right? Those thoughts, if I, worked harder, I don't work hard enough, that's meaning you're the problem. That's saying, what is wrong with me? From pressure, shame, right? And that's what happens with self-sabotage. Okay? And I don't want to say you're broken. You're not broken. I don't even want to use the word broken. I hate that word, that we're broken or we're not broken. I do use it at times in my coaching containers, and I did need to hear that I wasn't broken. So I'm going to say it here, okay? Because maybe you do need to hear that you're not broken. Because when we think we're the problem, it kind of goes hand in hand with we think we're broken. And we're not broken. Nobody is broken. We are all different, coming from beliefs, coming from things that happened in our childhood that we carry into our adulthood. And when we are not self-aware, it's going to continue to dictate our life. And shame says we can't look at it. It's too painful. Shame says you can't look at it because there is something wrong with you, right? Shame says you have to bury it and not talk about it. But self-awareness is the first road to all of this. You have to know why you do what you do. That is one of the reasons why my clients hire me. To learn, because they're stuck and they don't know why. Some do know why, okay? A lot know that they're stuck or they're in a deep emotional pain and they know their pattern, but they don't know why. They come to me. I help you understand why you think, feel, and act the way you do. And if shame is there, you won't look at it. We have to neutralize the behavior and who we are as people, humanize with curiosity and compassion in order to even look at that. If you have shame, you'll never look at it. So if you really want to heal, if you really want to be better, if you know all the things and you really want to change and you have shame, that might be what's holding you back from even contacting me, from contacting anyone, from reading the book. Or maybe you're doing the safe things, right? Reading the books, you're listening to the podcasts, but you're not reaching out to the therapist or you're not reaching out to the coach because you're hiding in the dark to heal, because you're making yourself the problem. You think that there's something wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. Nothing. Nothing. I don't care what you've done. You are not the problem. You don't have to be fixed. That, again, creates shame. Okay? So, I want this episode to help you relax. Relax into who you are. Because when you think there's something wrong with you, here's the next thing that happens. You're solving for the wrong thing. You're not going to heal. You're not going to change. You're not going to get to the place you want to be. Make the amount of money, find the relationship, build the business, get the new job, hire up into the C-suite. Okay, you're not going to do it in a way that feels good. You might do it from pressure and shame. That's possible. But you will suffer through your life and eventually you will hit burnout. Okay? Eventually you will hit burnout. And I forget where I was going with that. When you think you're the problem, your brain uses shame to control you. So, I am the problem to be fixed keeps you looking at, this is where I was going. It helps you to, it makes you solve for the wrong problem because you're constantly looking at you and you're the problem and how to fix you. When you put that down, you start to look at other things that might be happening around you. Your patterns, okay? Why you act the way you do. When you're just trying to fix you, you are obsessively looking at one channel. Instead, when you put that down, there's a whole other world out there for you to look at on what's really happening. That's the first thing, okay? You get to really understand what's happening. You get to look at things differently, okay? But the next thing is your brain uses there's something wrong with you, which cultivates shame, to control you, to stop you from doing things. Or it uses shame to get you to do things, depending on who you are, your triggers, and your brain. Okay? My brain used food addiction to keep me small. My brain used food addiction to keep me in the pattern that there is something wrong with me. My brain used food addiction to oh God. All right, I'll get back to that because I'm trying to get the words out on what it made me do, okay? But your brain is going to use avoidance, perfectionism, overworking, people-pleasing, self-doubt, all of it to stop you or to get you to do things. Okay? My brain also used, and I feel like I was going with this into some way, I used my food addiction to punish myself because it's a form of control. Punishing myself is a form of control. And it kept me stuck in the shame. It kept me small. It kept me in the pattern of not growing. of not evolving, of not doing other things. Okay? And none of this is about you failing. This is your brain doing its job. It learned that if it used shame, you bite on the shame, you speak it as your truth, and you stay small. And it comes in all those forms: perfectionism, overwhelm, whatever self-sabotage looks like, but self-doubt, overeating, overdrinking, right? It all might be underlying, fueled with shame. Every time you overeat, you make yourself the problem. Every time you give into a drink, you're making yourself the problem. And maybe it's the solution is over here on the other side. I needed more rest. I needed to be comforted. I needed a hug. Okay. And, I just read a meme on it was almost like a joke, a meme on Facebook that, something tragic happened and someone needed a hug. But sometimes we need to raise our hand and say, I need to feel supported. I need to be heard. And when we don't raise our hand and we just make ourselves a problem, we go to the drink. We go to the multiple drinks. We go to food. We'll go to outside sources, okay? Against our will. When we just decide that we're the problem, we're not going to raise our hand. We're not going to set the boundary because we make our boundaries a problem. Does this make sense? The next thing I want to say is that when we make ourselves a problem, we run from ourselves. That's what we do. Because we think we're broken, we think we're the problem, so we want to run another direction. And when you run from yourself, you're not going to heal. You're not going to see the solution. You're not going to you're not going to feel good. Okay, if you're at war with yourself, when you think you're the problem, you're going to become at war with yourself. You're never going to heal. You're not going to feel better. You're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to follow through on any of your goals, your potential, your capability, because you believe that you're the problem. So why would you think you're capable? People that think they're capable, fully, truly capable, don't look at themselves as the problem. Okay? So this is what I want to walk you through. And this is what I do in my coaching containers. When people come to me, they are running from themselves because they think that they're the problem. Okay, shame. Shame will push you away from yourself because it's telling you you're bad. And I hope, as I say this, and I'm repeating these things, that I know what I'm repeating is hurtful if we ingest it, right? To keep repeating you're the problem, you think you're the problem. But I need to use repetition here to normalize what's happening. Okay? Because we've been saying this to ourselves for so many years that deep down, you may not have even have recognized it at first, when I first introduced this in this podcast, because it might be so buried. Okay? I didn't know that I needed to hear years ago that I wasn't the problem. And I don't think anyone actually ever said it to me. Even 12 years in recovery. I think 12 years in the recovery taught me I was the problem. And I was never the problem. It was my mind. It was how I saw the world. It was the patterns that I created in my own mind. Didn't know was happening. I didn't purposely create those patterns to be a binge eater, to have zero capability or capacity to hold emotion. I didn't volunteer to do that. And you aren't either. You didn't know. And I didn't either. We didn't know that these patterns were being created subconsciously. And it's okay. It is okay. So what happens in my coaching containers is that I used to say this, and I've said this in several episodes, And this all relates. The first time I hired my coach, she did not physically, right? But kind of like, if you could envision it, she held up two mirrors to me. One was what I was doing to myself. The other one was what was truly possible for me. That's what she reflected back to me in my coaching container with her. And the first time I witnessed that, I became a different person. Just in the possibility that she was right, that I can control my life, that I'm not a prisoner of my mind or my thoughts. They're not just fact. I could question them. And this is what happened. She showed me what I was doing to myself. Basically, that I was creating the idea that I was the problem. And when you believe the problem, you're going to create your own problems. You're going to create more problems, right? That's like your thoughts create your results. Okay. And then she showed me what was possible for me, what I was actually capable of. She showed me two mirrors. Those two mirrors, one of them was why I was running from myself. And the other one was why I'm allowed to run back to myself. Do you see that? I was actually truly capable. It was possible for me. And why it was okay to be me. And you are no different. You are no different. Every single one of my coaching containers, when they come to me, when my clients are coming to me, they're running from themselves because they think they're the problem. They're chasing the solution. And in every coaching container I have, through undoing beliefs, through seeing their patterns, through dissecting their patterns, dismantling them, and rebuilding ones that are healthier for them, I am walking them back to them. You are the solution to it all. You're not the problem. You are actually the solution. And I want you to take a fresh breath of relaxation, knowing that that is your truth as well. Because you're a human being. You're capable of learning. You're capable of relearning. You're capable of feeling. You're capable of seeing this. You're capable of changing your thoughts. All of it. You're no different than any other human being. God didn't say, I grant that person to not ever be capable. I grant that person to be broken. Just you. No. It doesn't matter what your brain is saying. Your brain might be saying to you right now, okay, that's good for her and all her people, but that's not me. That is your brain using shame in real time, right now. And those thoughts are what got you here stuck, and they will keep you here stuck. And if you're listening to this, you are truly ready to do it a different way. That's why you are here. But you have to be aware of the thought that the comparison that works for them, but not for me. That's not true. And you know it. It's not true. You've learned a ton of things in your life, and you can learn this too. But shame will keep you stuck. You are the solution, and that is beautiful. You get to walk back to you. And as a woman, that is, you get to choose yourself and see that you're capable of what's possible. When we dismantle the noise, the inner noise, the guilt, the shame, the resentment, the overwhelm, the doubt, the perfectionism, all the things that's fueling I am the problem. When we dismantle them, you see you are the solution. You have everything inside you to be exactly what you want to be and to create what you want to create. You are no different than me or any of my clients. And I want you to really, and why would you want to believe differently unless you really do want to stay stuck and you don't want to do the work? And that is fine too. You're still not the problem. So here's what I want to offer you. First of all, if you are running from yourself, stop running. Turn around and look at yourself. Look at your patterns. Look at what you've created. Look at who you are, and try to look at it neutrally maybe for the first time. Okay. And if you've done this work before and you're feeling shame because you're not farther along, the shame is the pattern. The shame is continuing to keep you stuck. You just haven't seen it enough yet. Repetition has to happen. Repetition has to happen in order for us to truly step out of that old pattern and into a new one. And we don't cleanly step from one pattern to the new pattern that we want. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if you're making yourself a problem, you'll make that a problem too. That's where the pattern will keep you stuck. You have to release the belief that it's you as the problem. And start to look at, I'm going back and forth from an old life into a new life, from an old belief into a new belief. I'm from an old habit to a new habit. And look at it as information so that you can learn from it neutrally, putting down the shame, from curiosity, from loving compassion. And I guarantee you'll get there so much faster. So I have several things I want to offer if you want to take this deeper with me. Okay. I am offering an in-person mini retreat November 13th, and that's local to me. Okay. It's Lumberton, I think, New Jersey. This is what I'm doing in this workshop. I am going to show you why you're not the problem. And I'm going to show you how to walk you back to you. And when you are walking back to you, there's going to be setbacks, and how to not make that a problem, tools to use so that when you do have setbacks, you can keep momentum happening. This is Becoming Unstoppable mini retreat. When we do this work, we become unstoppable. But if we continue to think we're the problem, we will just stop. It'll just be stop, period. Okay. And I'm going to show you all the reasons all the things that derail you, right? Perfectionism, self-doubt, all the things, why it's happening. We're going to go into some detail. And then I'm going to show you the steps that we move to walk you back to you. Why it's safe to walk back to you, how to walk back to you, and how to stay with you. And when we don't run from ourselves, there's no need to go outside of ourselves to numb, to disconnect, to detach. Okay, like we don't need food, we don't need excess alcohol, we don't need to come out the side of our neck. Like none of that happens when we walk back to us, because there's no reason to escape us. And we escape us because we think that there's something wrong with us. So we go outside of ourselves for support. But when you walk back to you, there's no need to do that, because you're whole and complete. You're whole and complete now. You just don't feel it. You don't see it, which is why I'm saying you are the solution, because it's in you. Whole and complete is already there. But when you connect to it, feel it, and believe it, you don't need to go outside of yourself for any of those things. So that's what I'm offering you in this experience, in this mini retreat, is to show you why you're running from yourself, stop you from running to yourself, show you why it's safe to walk towards yourself, keep walking, and meet yourself, and how to stay there with yourself, all through dismantling all these beliefs and a ton of shame. So I have that, and early bird tickets are until October 31st. Okay, so take that decision off your desk. Don't delay, right? You got a lot of open tabs. If you want to come, just go get the ticket. Okay, it's one less thing you got to worry about, that all the open tabs in your brain. Okay, or this is what I do in my coaching container. Let's take this work deeper. Work together to dismantle it and walk you back to yourself. Okay, And I have my website is AllisonGallagher.com. Breaks it all down for you on that page, exactly what we would do together. And we start with a free call, figuring out where you are and where you want to be. And then we make what we'd work on, the plan that we would make together. And none of this comes from overwhelm. There's not a ton of homework when I work with my clients. It is free flowing, and my clients guide me. Guide me. It is co-creating together. So if any of this lands for you, and I hope that this podcast alone created transformation for you. It's always my goal. And if you're ready to take it deeper, I am here. Whether it's the retreat or coaching together. And in that retreat, I've also created something that I'm going to keep as a surprise for that room. That I'm going to offer that's going to carry you into the holidays. A support system to carry you into the holidays, because this event is November 13th. I'm creating a support system that's going to carry you into the holidays so that you are emotionally grounded and connected to yourself, your confidence, your calm, right? When you walk back towards yourself, confidence appears or reappears. Clarity reappears, right? Calm reappears. Connectedness reappears. And that catapults your love, money, your connection to your higher level thinking, okay? And none of this means you have to sacrifice your people, any of it, when you walk back to yourself and you meet yourself where you are or where your true potential is. And I'm just going to leave you with this. If you have any questions, you know how to find me. I'm just going to leave you with this, because this is the truth. When women choose themselves and they choosing themselves, they rise. When you choose yourself, you will rise. You rise. Okay? And when you rise, your family rises, your life rises, and your community rises. And with that, the whole world rises. Every time a woman chooses herself to rise and walks back to herself, meets herself back where she started, right before all the shit and the noise, she rises, everyone else around her rises, and the world rises. And you get to be a part of that. You deserve to rise. I can help you. My retreat can help you. And it is your God-given right, just in general, to stop running from yourself. So that is what I wanted to share today. I love you all. I'm here for any questions. And all the show notes will have all the links. And I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. One more thing. If you're loving this content, I would love for you to review wherever you're listening. Share this with a fellow amazing human that might need some extra support. And I'd love your feedback. If you're looking to give it, you can reach me at coaching@AllisonGallagher.com. If you're curious on how I can help you and what it would look like to work together, if you want to accelerate your goals, if you have goals, just don't know where to start, or if you just know you're meant for more, we would start with a free scheduled call. You would tell me where you are and where you wish you were. And by the end of that call, you're going to have relief and clarity, even some confidence, because you're going to know your action steps to take next. Then you can decide if working with me is the right fit or not. Either way, you're going to have all the information you need to move forward. To schedule a call, you can follow the link in my show notes or go to AllisonGallagher.com for more information. You've been listening to the You Get to Decide podcast with your host, Allison Cratchola Gallagher. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.